use specifically for some new AI mock interview technology, as well as the vast majority we use it for our advanced manufacturing spaces that we have coming, which has been fantastic. The previous grant the Haley Foundation gave us, it gave us almost $500,000 in each of our 2 new welding labs, paid for equipment, also paid for teachers, and also paid for 2 new instructional coaches, which they've been just a phenomenal partner. And I said, if you give it to us, we're gonna show you results. Let me show you what we've already done with the money you've given us last time. Let me show you what's on the books to be built. Here's what you can expect from West-MEC. So just a great conversation with the Haley Foundation today. Also today, we did, Marilyn and I split time. We did 2 Kiwanis clubs today. She did one in North Phoenix. I did one for the Glendale Chamber. And then right after that, I did one with the Glendale Chamber Public Policy Committee. So I got those 2 done today. Let's see, Tim was able to attend part of the Trust Policy Governance Conference, and I had to go split time with that in the SIP meeting. So I was able to do that. Gave Superintendent Mark Listis from Agua Fria and board member Eric Coulton tour of this Agua Fria Career Academy, and they were blown away. It's going to be a great opportunity for our students. Continue conversations with the Peoria lease with the city of Peoria up in the North Estancia area. And then we met again with Scott Holman, who's now the workforce development person for Amcor, looking to continue to work to provide him information on us being able to produce the back-end technicians for the semiconductor industry there. Upcoming meetings coming up between now and probably the end of October. You see this on the top of the board letter. I've got a meeting with Northwest Valley Indivisible tomorrow night between 6 and 8 for a bond presentation. Meeting with LD 28 Republicans September 15th at Westbrook Village. Meeting with LD 29 Republicans monthly meeting on September the 18th at 6:30. Proposition 403 and 406 presentation and a tour with the Paradise Valley School Board will be on September the 29th. We will meet and tour the Northeast Campus, and they will follow us down to the Career Academy at Agua Fria, which will be the model concept they're looking at. They're going to follow us down to tour that facility as well. And what they want is the trades, which is going to be phenomenal for them. We'll do a proposition 403 and 406 presentation with Agua Fria Governing Board, and then tour the Career Academy after that on October the 1st. So they're actually going to hopefully hold their meeting right on the Agua Fria Career Academy campus, maybe inside the new electrical lab. We're going to try to set things up so they'll actually have their meeting right on the campus and then do a tour right afterwards. Meeting with the Festival Ranch Republicans and Independent Interest Groups October the 2nd at the Saguaro Recreation Center. At the Superintendent's Advisory Council meeting, we're also inviting legislators to also be a part of that. We might do 2 different meetings to also get some feedback, provide updates, overviews, propositions, talk a little bit probably about transportation as well. And then meeting with the new superintendent from Paradise Valley, Dr. Todd Cummings, on October the 9th to continue our conversations about our partnership and the potential of doing some West-MEC work in his district. And then on October the 22nd, Dr. Hadwick and some Phoenix Union administrators are coming to tour our campuses to get a sense of how we do things at West-MEC. And then on the 26th, we've got LD 27 Republican Party presentation at Sunrise Park in Estancia. And with that being said, that's what I'm going to stop with.
Thank you.
A lot of great things happening. So great conversations, and been able to make just phenomenal folks and all of our LD meetings, and just very supportive of West-MEC and asking really good questions, and just really applaud all the work that our board and our teachers and our students have done at West-MEC, because those that know us know and understand. Those that don't know us very well know us much better when we leave there, and literally just kind of blown away of the great things we're doing for students. Very good, sir.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to the governing board. Any events you want to mention or anything you want to talk about, Dr. Molina? I mean, and Mr. Molina.
Dr. Molina.
Just
Really?
any current events?
No, I've had the opportunity to attend several of the presentations that Dr. Spurgeon has done over the course of the last couple of weeks. And just sort of reading the tea leaves, so to speak, from those meetings and the discussions that are going on in the audience. Because I'm sitting back while he's doing the presentation and just listening to different conversations that are going on. I think we're sitting in a very good place vis-a-vis the 2 propositions. People are starting to recognize, not only, as you said, what CTE does, individually for them because some people know people who have benefited from it. But they're now starting to see what it does for the community as a whole, for the economy as a whole. And so I think all of that bodes very well for both propositions, 403 and 406. So I'm very optimistic for that. Other than that, participate in two different veterans presentations, obviously not anything specifically to do with West-MEC, but still involved. Had a sit down roundtable with Representative Hamadeh a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and last week with the Vets to Gov at the state capitol presentation there. And whenever I have a chance, I kind of talk about CTE specifically and West-MEC in general. So, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, one comment real quick. One of the things, I think one of the most important things I say, Mr. Molina, you can agree or disagree here is when you look at the life of paying off the bonds that we're asking people to approve over 15 years, we put out around 17 to 1,900 completers every single year. When all these projects are done, we'll have over 6,000 spaces available for students, which means we're putting out probably in the neighborhood of 4,000 plus students. And over the life of 15 years of the payment of that bond, you're talking close to 60,000 students coming out into the workforce over the 15-year life of that bond. That's a good bang for the buck.
Yeah. That's why.
He made the presentation, Dr. Spurgeon made the presentation at this one Republican club. You could have heard a pin drop. And it was about 20 minutes, but they were just speechless. Of course, they were all a lot of older people, and he mentioned vocational ed, so that it really got their attention. Plus, the other fact is show the tax bills.
Yeah.
And how much money comes out of your taxes for West-MEC. It's astonishing. So I've gone to some of your Dr. Spurgeon's presentation, and that was at the ribbon cutting ceremony. Other than that, I don't remember.
Barbara was kind enough to share her tax bill with us, and I shared mine with her. I pay $55.90 a year for West-MEC. She pays $36.19. So we're the best bang for the buck.
And for Dysart, I pay around 1,000. You know, it's amazing.
I think I paid 59 for West-MEC.
59. See, the
1200.
house is probably more
Yeah,
valuable.
1,200 for Deer Valley and 1,200 for the fire district.
Hi, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, I also attended the ribbon cutting, and the new facilities are just outstanding. I'm excited to see. I'm also very impressed with the welding facility. Not many people have talked about that, but it's a really amazing, up-to-date facility with that printer, 3D printer right in the middle, and
That plasma cutter is unbelievable, and the new robotics arm is incredible.
so good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is Linda on?
No, Linda's not. I don't think she's logging. No, she's not logging in.
Mr.
He's on his way. He's texting. He would be late.
Yeah, Terry's on his phone.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair, so I tell you that going back to what Dr. Spurgeon said about the SIT meeting, awesome presentation. In fact, so much I think God was involved because they shut off EVET and only turned his on. So they basically chose him to be but great presentation. It was a lot of new partnerships that were there. So it was a lot of questions came after that from companies that are not associated with the CTE. So Dr. Spurgeon's presentation helped spur those conversations.
That's good.
And it turned out really well. I will be working on coming up, the Amazon GSOC Global Security Group does want to have a CTE do a tour of their facility to try to build out their security program. They do global security as a crisis analyst type world. They employ probably 5 to 10 people a year. But they also have bilingual speakers of multiple languages. And they have an analyst group, an intelligence group, and then they have a troubleshooting group of security of some sort. But they did want to see if we can do a tour. I'm setting that up now. We're also setting up a tour with Congressman Hamadeh. We're working with his people to get connections so you guys can he can come out and see the schools as well.
Yes, that'd be nice.
Thank you.
Sir.
Also, yes.
So one of the first that happened with West-MEC, we met with Vice President of Palo Verde Nuclear Power Plant about two Fridays ago. And they've hired their first West-MEC students on the operational side of the nuclear power plant. It's big, and they're two brothers. They graduated a few years ago, but they hired both of them and they took the chance and they have been phenomenal so far. And that's a huge first for West-MEC to be hired on the operational side of the nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
Those money's made.
Yeah.
Boy.
We should get them to come back and speak to the students maybe after a year or so.
Absolutely.
Year or two. Yeah, that'd be great. That's exciting. Yeah. I just wanted to mention that I also attended the ribbon cutting, the opening at Northeast campus. And honestly, I was blown away by the labs, the equipment in there, and just the amount of technology and the lessons that the students are gonna get from that. I was like, it's just incredible, like to have that in a high school, it's amazing. So I'm glad that you're having the opportunity to go around the valley and speak to people about West-MEC and what West-MEC does. I've been doing the same, and a lot of folks, we still have a lot of folks that haven't heard of West-MEC, and some who know of West-MEC don't really understand that it's a public high school and the programs that they offer. So it's a good time to talk about West-MEC right now.
Sure.
Terry, I know you just got here, but do you have any current events, anything you wanna share?
I always have something to say. Where's my mic? Couple things, actually, you did a great job the other day, LD 27. I'm speaking next week at our LD 2. I've got 5 minutes,
Okay.
so I'll push the bond issues and I guess that's what I did.
Thank you. Thanks, sir. All right, moving on to public participation. Do we have anyone for public comments? No one? Okay. Second call from the public for comment? Excuse me. Third call. Okay, hearing none. Moving on. Yeah. Okay. Recognitions and celebrations. Hi,
Hello,
welcome. Yes. Yes.
First Superintendent, Aaron Parsons, you know me as the campus administrator for Southwest Campus. I am getting the honor and privilege of presenting Teodora Robles, one of our medical assistant instructors with Employee of the Month. Wow, this is her third year. She's starting her third year with us, and she's already making quite the impact. In her first year, she was new CTE Teacher of the Year in the state of Arizona. And she deserves it. Some of her test scores are just, when you look at our district data, her test scores, her student participation, her certification scores, they're right up there with the top of anyone in our district. She does amazing things with our students. But what really stands out for me when we looked at who deserved this from our campus is at Southwest Campus, we have a thing that we look at called South-MEC culture. And it's just how do you integrate and engage everybody on the culture and the campus to make sure that we're felt and that our students get kind of a comprehensive experience. And every time I see Ms. T, she's working with another teacher, engaging her students in cross-discipline collaboration. And not only is she herself still learning how to be a teacher, I think she would tell you that, this is only year 3 and she's still got a lot to learn. But this year, when we onboarded a new MA teacher, I walked in on the first couple of days of school and she was sitting in the back of the room, making sure that that new teacher wasn't alone. She teaches a early morning block, so she had her afternoon free. So she was in there for that new teacher's first day just to make sure that she felt supported and able to move on. So when we look at our campus and who really shines and exemplifies what we want to be, it's Miss Robles.
Ms. Robles.
Miss Robles, the floor is yours.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for acknowledging. I think I've been successful because of my colleagues. My admin has been very supportive. The first year I was there, obviously it was very overwhelming. But there was not one day that I didn't have an instructor coming to me and saying, are you okay? Do you need anything? They will check in with me first thing in the morning. They would check in with me during their break, and they would check in with me before they left. So I honestly wanted to be that person for that new instructor because I've been there and I know how overwhelming it can get. But for the most part, thank you so much, as well as my, admin. They've been very supportive as well. Anything that I've needed, they've been able to make it happen for me. So thank you.
Yeah, you almost got it together.
That way we'll.
We wanna be balanced.
Oh my God. Between.
Yeah,
Every other shirt will be.
I see, okay. Do I need to tuck my shirt tail in?
You're good.
Right. All right. 1, 2, 3. And then one more. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I know, right? I guess you do prefer insurance. I was actually.
We knew you could going under.
So I'm manager.
It's plugged in.
Does your wife?
I did everything. Yeah. Used to teach my training. I knew it. So.
You can't have to.
Thank you so much.
And before I let it go, I also need to highlight her son who's about to take his mom to dinner. He's one of our alumni, and because of us, he is now certified to work at Banner, doing a great job, and he comes back and gives back to our system and talks to our students going through our medical lab program. So Daniel is a great example of who we educate. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Parsons.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that was it, right?
Paradise Honors.
All right. We have Paradise Honors, Miss Rosalie Garcia, Career and Technical Education Director at Paradise Honors School District. Welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here. Thank you, Governing Board, Dr. Spurgeon. It is just always such a privilege to come because it's my favorite thing to brag about what our students are doing in our programs and to thank you for all your help. So I will just be briefly just highlighting our programs. Our Paradise Honors is a public charter. We are small. I mean, it's a little bit over 1,000 students total. We're very new to CTE also. If you look at my information there, 56% of our students are taking a CTE class. That doesn't count the other 57 kids that I'm sending to one of your campuses for a West-MEC central program. And I just love that because you know what I think this illustrates is this is your new profile of honors type kids. These kids are taking calculus, honors English, dual enrollment for college classes, and CTE. And they are not just taking one, oh, I did my 1 year or something if it's a requirement. No, they're completing. In fact, the students I brought have actually been in not just the engineering program that they're going to talk to you about, they've been in others too. So, I'm very proud of what CTE is doing on the campus. I put up my enrollment numbers because when I came as CTE director, the fall of 2022, I put in our enrollment numbers. And if you notice, we have doubled our numbers for how many students are taking the CTE class on our campus. Again, a really, really neat thing. And our law and public safety didn't have a previous score there, but they actually have been in existence now 2 years, completed their first group of kids to finish that program. And this year we started a new sports medicine one. I wanted to also note that we're an A school for several years with the state, but we also even got the distinction. There's only 56 schools in Arizona that are elementary, middle school, high school that are selected for the A+ of Excellence Award, and we got that last year. So again, I wanted to just illustrate, because we are about all those kind of things to be high achieving, and we are so about CTE, and it's exciting to me to see. The first program I want to quickly highlight for you is just our business management one. This one has actually been the longest running one on campus. Truly, we didn't start being official with, we actually joined with West-MEC 2022. You know, and last year we had our total quality review and stuff, but we joined West-MEC. And but this business management program has so many elements in it that personal finance, our students can get a seal for their diploma for the personal finance, and they can also, if they pass 2 years of the business management program and pass the TSA, they actually get an economics credit towards graduation, because we really are. And we can show in our scope and sequence how we actually do both of those, and we have the crosswalk to where they can get both of those standards. So I have a picture there of the instructor, simply because we were very proud. She has been doing the CTSOs for years, only at Paradise Honors for the 5 years, but she was selected as the FBLA Advisor of the Year for Arizona last year. So that was really, really exciting, and I wanted to highlight it. Oh, and did I just do that?
Well, we got it.
Oh, no, it's here. I don't know what I did wrong, but it's back. Okay. And all this was just showing you how many students she took to state, and even took 16 people to nationals. One girl was in the finalists for personal finance in her event. Anyway, so they have been very active and brought back many awards. Graphic design is another one of our programs, and this one has been also there on campus for 5 years. We've had a change several times of instructors and stuff, but I wanted to highlight also for this one, because of West-MEC, I got to replace their lab. Last year we had TQI review, they were like, these MacBooks are not great. And I'm like, I know. And anyway, we replaced the lab, and that was because of our funding with you. And we also bought a big Roland printer cutting machine, wanting to do with the graphic design kids designing things and then being able to do shirts or whatever project it is. But it gives them hands-on experience. They actually also designed the wrap that we did on our CTE vans. The students designed it. So this is our law and public safety program. And as I said, this is a fairly new one. They've only been on campus 2 years. This year is their 3rd year. They have a partnership with the Surprise Police Department, which I think is really, really special, because they, the police come, and it's actually almost like a field trip. It's a half day that Surprise Police does a crime investigation teaching and walk the kids through. They also donated that police car you see in the slide. They donated that to us, and our graphic design kids are making something for the side of it. We haven't done that yet, but they He also was very proud because he had his first two kids finish. One is at NAU, majoring now in criminology, and one has finished all her training and graduated with Department of Corrections. She's doing that until she gets old enough to then go into, I think she wants the police work with crime investigation. But anyway, and that's just a few. We haven't followed up with all, but that was exciting. Our sports medicine is brand new this year. And so again, we're just starting, and that teacher has, though, the 13 years of experience, most of it actually professionally in the industry. He did teach the last couple years at another high school. And anyway, but he is very knowledgeable, and we are just in our first year of it. But he's working on what we call our Panther Prowler Hour. Students can come in and his students can do and have hands-on. So the next one, I'm going to bring up the instructor, Cheryl Christensen. She is the instructor for the engineering program. And I will say also, you might notice, I should have worn my matching shirt. Wednesday is our professional day of dress. So when you see her and the students come up, it's because, and the principal is kind of cute. She said, Rose, it's like a sea of black shirts on campus. Cause really, if you think about 56%, but our whole goal when we went to a conference, our whole goal was we would listen and realize, yeah, professional dress. This is, you know, teaching students. And I mean, the teacher stands at the door and they come through and you need to be dressed, you know, nicely. I mean, but we do the shirts for them. They didn't have to purchase those. Thank you, West-MEC, because that's what I did. But it's professional dress, and you know, we just issue them at the beginning of the year and they turn them in. But it's a very special thing. So now I'm going to let engineering just quickly take over. And I'll let you, Ms. Christensen, go ahead and you can bring your students up.
I will. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. This is my second time teaching in Arizona. I started my teaching career in 2003, right when West-MEC was born. And so I worked with Karen Latin in the Agua Fria School District, and she was using Project Lead the Way. And so I knew that was a good program. And when I came back to Arizona from Seattle, Washington, and interviewed, one of my questions was, are you part of West-MEC? I was not going to go work for a school or a school district that was not part of West-MEC because I knew the value that you guys provide, and I just am so appreciative. So I want to introduce some of my students. I did work in industry for 18 years. I was a sales engineer working with NASA, the Department of Defense, contractors, the Honeywells, the Boeings, the Navy, the Air Force. And so I wanted to build an engineering program. I knew how critical it was. I knew that we needed more kids entering STEM related careers. And so I said, can I build that? They said, absolutely. And I had a lot of experience working in that industry. So I was excited to reach out and write several grants with Project Lead the Way. And that's also brought in some additional funds. But these are three of my students. I wanted to introduce them and let them share a little bit about what we've been doing. On the right is Emilio, and then in the middle is Olivia, and then this is Hadley. And I'll let them go ahead and tell you a little bit about, we'll start with Hadley and then we'll do Amelia and then we'll finish with Olivia.
So, hi board members, I'm Hadley Gray. I'm in 11th grade and I'm the historian for our Skills USA engineering chapter. I compete in prepared speaking at Skills USA competitions, and I'd like to talk a little bit about our success at competitions. I became the first person at my school to make nationals for Skills USA last year. And while no one else has made nationals yet, we have had a lot of people come very close, including over the past 2 years, having teams in 3D modeling competitions make second place. And while that doesn't qualify them for nationals, we're still very proud that they were able to place at such a high level in such a competitive event. As our chapter continues to grow, because we're still very small, we're getting our numbers up. as it continues to grow, we hope to have more members making nationals and the following years.
So Amelia's gonna talk a little bit about our growth.
Good evening, board members. My name is Emilio. I am in 11th grade. I am a vice president of our Skills USA chapter. I plan to become a mechanical engineer, and because of this, I performed in our Skills USA regionals and state for engineering technology design. A little bit about our growth is that our first official year in 2022, we had 12 members, which 2 were female, and currently in 2025, we now have 32 members. Trying to grow our female member ratio, which we currently have 5. But we are doing outreach programs with our SciTech festivals. We're doing college career fairs. We're using advertisements within our school, without our school, with social media. So we're just trying to create more knowledge of our program.
Hi, board members. My name is Olivia Vong. I am also in 11th grade. This is my, I believe, 3rd year in Skills USA. I am also president of Skills USA this year. I also competed in the related technical math competition these past couple of years at Skills USA competitions. And after high school, I hope to study mechanical engineering at a maybe local, maybe out-of-state university. One of our biggest sources of work-based learning within our engineering program at Paradise Honors is our STEM camp. In 2023, we founded and hosted our annual STEM camp, which is geared towards 1st through 8th graders all across the West Valley. So kids all across the West Valley can attend, pay a small $25 fee to get about a 3 to 4 hour session, either morning or in the afternoon, of just pure STEAM-based activities. They could build anything from drawing robots to balloon cars to lava lamps and even Rube Goldberg machines. The kids always have a big blast doing it, and we always hear about how much they love it. So we try and continue it every single year. So far, we've hosted 3. We've done 2 in the winter, 1 in the spring. Our first year was in the winter, and then we slowly are starting to add more. At our first camp, it was 2 days long. We were able to host 57 kids and raise about $1425. On our second camp, which was the following winter, we did it for 3 days, and we had a whopping 93 kids and raised $2,325. And then this third camp was hosted this past spring. It was again 2 days rather than 3, and it was 56 kids, and we raised $1,400. So the STEM camp is one of my favorite activities that we do each year, and it's a great opportunity to get the rest of the community involved in STEM and loving STEM as much as we do.
Great. It's also a great recruiter for skills because the kids see the other kids preparing the activities and they want to get involved. And so I was able to recruit some new members as we were preparing for our STEM camp. And so it worked really, really well. The parents have been begging me to do a summer STEM camp. Haven't done it yet, but it is definitely the students are in charge. They take what they've learned in class and then they teach it to the children. They do all the marketing, they do all the finances, they do all the ordering. It is truly work-based learning. They do the community outreach, the customer service as the parents come and drop off, everything from parent signatures to releases, etc. This next year, we just received, thanks to your funding, our first laser engraver and laser cutter. And so as a gift for you, we've brought you a West-MEC logo on a glass mug. And we're not gonna call them beer mugs, but just now mugs, root beer mugs. And we're getting familiar with it, but this is also going to be another work-based learning avenue for us. I've already had teachers reaching out. Our music department has a kind of a hall of fame, and we're gonna be engraving all of the names for them. And then we're reaching out to our athletic coaches for different awards and such. We'll probably reach out to the community for any laser engraving that they want. And then we're also doing the laser cutting. We're working on the exhaust system because it does put out some nice smells. So we're focusing on the engraving right now, but we're just so appreciative of the support that West-MEC has provided. And I, having left for 5 years, I was at Agua Fria, and then GCU recruited me to build a design program for them. And then I went back to industry due to some family issues, and I was gone for 8 years. But coming back, I can't believe all the amazing buildings that are everywhere, the orange buildings and the equipment and the programs that are being offered. I mean, stacking those certificates is where people are going now. And I gotta tell you, I wish West-MEC was as mature as it was when I started to teach, because I went to ASU's 10-month post-bac. So you know I paid I've got student loans. And now it's amazing that you can bring industry in and go through your training. And I've done several of your classes at the summer programs, and they're wonderful. So thank you very much. And everyone got their mug? Thank you for letting us present. Do you have questions?
It's wonderful to have you as a teacher because your enthusiasm just radiates.
Well, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
was raised by a physicist who worked on the Saturn V rocket, the Apollo program. So let me tell you, I was taught Boolean algebra at the dinner table.
Oh, my goodness.
Will be a scientist. And I got a business degree. So back when I was in high school, bookkeeping was what we had in typing. If we would have had engineering, I would have been all over it. But thank you so much. All right. Any questions? Other questions?
Students?
I have a question. So, all three of you can kind of answer this one. So what is your goal after high school?
After high school for me, I plan to go to a college for something science-based. I'm leaning more towards being a medicinal chemist at the moment.
For me, I think I already mentioned this, but I hope to study mechanical engineering at a university, and then my love for engineering has actually come from doing this.
So what interests you about mechanical engineering? What's the bigger picture? Pull that lens back.
Being able to just see and understand how things move and why they do, and immerse other people in that kind of thing would be such a cool thing to do in my life.
Thank you.
I'm leaning towards going to college. I'm looking at Ivy Leagues right now, Embry-Riddle specifically. I'm gonna go for mechanical engineering, hopefully work for a propulsional technology at NASA, possibly Boeing, and eventually working at ADIO, becoming a college professor later on, hopefully Embry-Riddle or Purdue. My main.
So if they asked you to go to Mars to be an engineer, would you do it?
We build that.
I would build it.
You can build it, right? But I'm like, very cool. Thank
And
you.
I didn't mention 100% of my kids have been passing the TSA. Our first year was last year. So it was like nervous, and they've all been getting their certification in Fusion. We're gonna stack on, for those that are in 7-8, we're gonna stack on Python. So I learned Python at Harvard in their business analytics program while I was back in industry. And so we're gonna be adding Python as a certificate as well. So my kids will walk away with a couple of certs. Thank you very much.
Fabulous.
Very good.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for all your support. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Christine. All right. Moving on to career services, student credentials and placement reports. Jessica Bruins. Reese, welcome.
Yeah. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Spurgeon, always excited to be here to talk about credentials and career placement. I usually like to start off just by introducing our career services team. This team has a lot of input in those two big data points for the district. We are now up to 6 career coaches that are embedded on some of our campuses. Hopefully, as West-MEC grows, we are crossing our fingers that this team will hopefully grow as well. We were able to make the addition with the support from the board and Dr. Spurgeon of 2 new additional career coaches at our largest campuses this year. So our Southwest campus now has 2 coaches, as well as our Northwest coach. And we've really just seen the positive impact that those extra folks have made on just having a manageable student to career coach ratio for those bigger campuses. So just a couple of career services data points. Our student touch points for the year last year were a total of 483. So that would be anything including student workshops, resume writing, interview prep, mock interviews, professional skills, all of those things that career coaches are going into the classrooms for and educating students on, ensuring that they're career ready. Our career coaches had a total of 308 industry engagements. That means they either gave tours, they connected with industry one-on-one, talking about partnership opportunities, they engaged in chamber or community meetings, and then our advisory council meetings as well. Career plans, this is one data point that we're exceptionally proud of. Our career coaches helped 100% of our students complete career plans. So 100% of the students that completed their program last May left with a robust next step, a plan of what they are going to be doing after West-MEC.
So let me tie this in. Remember the career plans, we weren't really sure where it was gonna have the impact. But our placement rate this year went to a district high of 93.49%. We think it's directly related to students having a career plan and a purpose of leading and exiting our program.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then, of course, you know, our career coaches are heavily involved in trying to find out what happens to our students after they leave us. So they were able to get responses back from 96% of our students. So that is an incredible number. Now, this is not the positive placement number that I'll be talking about later, but just having that amount of students respond to us is a testament to the relationships that they build with these students before they leave us.
How were we able to increase that number so much?
I believe the addition of coaches helped. Also being able to really focus on building those relationships. We had a year or two, we hired those some new coaches, we had some turnover. So that first year was a little rough because they were there the whole year. They hadn't built those relationships with students, but this year we were really in our groove and our career coaches really had the ability to make those connections. And students wanted to speak with them out.
What has the response been from those students that you've reached? I mean,
Yeah.
it's good to know that you're 94%, 96% are responding, but
Yes, if it's okay, I will get there, I promise. It is at the end of the presentation. Really quick, I want to talk about just the number of industry credentials that were earned by our students last year. Over 6,000 credentials were earned. Over half of that is the high value credentials, right? Those required and preferred credentials that are recognized by industry. So our counselors, instructors, admins, staff, career coaches, everyone just rallies around our students to ensure that they are leaving their program with at least one high value industry recognized credential. And it shows in what they're doing after they leave us. So, Mr. Molina, to your question, 93% of our 2024 completers, so we're always a year behind in reporting, are either working in post-secondary education, in the military, or on a missions trip, which is the highest number of positive placement that we've ever had in the district. So we're hoping to continue on this trajectory and only improve even more from here. And then we really took what the board has asked for a couple of years now to heart. I know you all had wanted to get some more data on what our students are doing after that first initial year when they leave us. So we were able to contract a company called LifeTrack, and we gave them our roster of 2019 completers. They were able to follow up with those students. They did kind of manage our expectations. They said usually they have about a 40 to 50% response rate for students that are that far gone from the program. And their data came back right around there. We got a 45% response from those 2019 completers. Just a couple of quick highlights. 86% of those 45 that responded are working. 35% earn an associate's or bachelor's degree. 46 are employed in a field related to the West-MEC program. 81% state their West-MEC certification has positively impacted employment, military, or college university experience. Over 80% felt confident in the professional skills they learned at West-MEC, and over 80% felt West-MEC prepared them for their next step after high school. And we did upload that entire report for you. It is very extensive, comprehensive. There's some gender ethnicity data, all of that good stuff. But those are definitely some of the highlights we were able to pull out. Yes.
Out of that 46%, do we know how many of those 46 are employed through the West-MEC program but did not go to college? So they've got into their career and West-MEC was their launching pad.
I'd have to go back in the report and read it a little bit more thorough. I know that 86% of those 45 are working. I don't think anything was mentioned about working and going to college afterwards. They're just working.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like back out the 35% earned a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
So 46% are employed, so that means at least 11% were straight from West-MEC, or is it greater than that? Is 35% not mutually that'd be a good number to know, I think, for what we do.
Yeah, those
And-
that
and-
went directly into business industry.
And how do we identify those students? Because those are the ones that we really should target.
They could be industry specific as well.
So we are going to be continuing this. So this year we'll submit to them the class of 2020. I don't know what that data is gonna look like. It's gonna be our COVID year class. So it might be a little different. But we'll be happy to share those results with you next year.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. So this is what you're working on now. What are you gonna work on this year, the rest of this year? What's new? What new innovation are you working on?
Yeah, so right now, career coaches are working on resume writing with students. They are in the classrooms working on making sure students have resumes that showcase their technical skills, professional skills, certifications. We are also going to be hosting a parent credential night question and answer session at the end of the month. Each year, our career coaches go into the classrooms. They talk to students about their credentials that they're able to obtain within their programs. They talk about cost and what it would look like if they had to take these on their own outside of West-MEC. And then we also involve the parents. So the parents will get that information. And if they have extra questions, we'll have them log in during that question and answer session. And hopefully be able to answer that question for them. So resume writing, parent engagement. We are currently working on getting the placement data for our 2025 completers. So that's kind of a year-long process. Some career coaches are working on that as well.
Question to that.
Yes.
Not to get ahead of the superintendent, but do you foresee any additional investments that's gonna help you with, with the tracking or with any of the things that we're doing? Is there anything, what can we do to help you? Is it better?
Okay, sure.
Not together, so I know that's a one-on-one.
I love that question.
What to hear?
Yeah, I will be completely honest. I definitely think that as we're expanding and opening more campuses, opening our West-MEC Agua Fria campus, we don't have a designated career coach for that campus. So right now, 2 of our existing career coaches are doing double duty and trying to help support those students. I'm proctoring their certification testing. So as we're opening Southeast Campus, as we're opening additional career academies, that's just something that I would like the board and Dr. Spurgeon and leadership to think about and consider. Just to make sure that all of our students are having the same amount of support and the exceptional support that West-MEC is known for. So,
Thank
yes.
Were you done?
No, I'm done with that.
So on that kind of same follow-up, I'd love to see where you talked about the industry engagement and everything by campus, because if we invested a second staff member at the big campuses, the student ratio and how did that impact, compare it to last year and this year? And what my concern is maybe we have those medium-sized campuses, we should hire someone half here and half here to bring that same level of support if we're seeing the value. And so what I'd really like to see is that breakdown last year to this year by campus, where we added the second one and show us how much it added.
And we'll have those data points for you. So our career coaches, they fall under what's called our classroom site funds. So they don't get the performance pay, they get the 301 classroom site fund pay. And as part of that plan, we actually track how many industry engagements each one of them partakes in over the years. So we'll have that data for you, Mr. Straka, next year. Right, that was actually the end. So if there's any other questions?
Thank you. Professional development presentation. I think this is Mr. Wakefield. Yep. I just saw you a little while ago.
Yes, we spent some time together today. Thank you. Mr. Ramirez and members of the board, Dr. Spurgeon, it's my honor to be able to talk about some of the wonderful things that we're doing in professional development. And so I have to introduce all the good things by telling you some of the people. So we've got Christina, Patrick, Emma, and Rasan in the back. And so when I tell you all about the good work, it's their great work that really shines for the district. A little bit about professional development. We are ingrained throughout the organization and do a lot of wonderful things. So we, as you know, we teach a lot of courses for teachers to maintain their certification, to get their certification. Some of our team members work with OSHA. In fact, one of our new team members is receiving some of her OSHA training today so that she can continue and start doing that for us. We work with certifications with OSHA, NC3, NCCER. And then we always talk about the great work that we do with CTSO officers in the fall. And then we do a lot of work with career literacy. Rasan has some great goals this year to grow some of the early CTE literacy to help our students. And then probably one of the things that I personally am most proud of is continuing to grow our employees to be all that they can be. And that's what we call West-MEC U. And we found all of this in all of our trainings where it's a professional experience. People can come and we present a professional presentation. We like to be innovative and engaging with the work that we do. And we always want to make sure that it's sound and uses best practice. And we can work with all those to make sure that they receive what they want to from the trainings. Just take a quick look at our numbers. So over the course of the last 3 years, we've been able to stay consistent with the courses that we offer. And these are our certification series courses. There are now this year we were able to provide 26 different courses. All of those are credit bearing courses for certification. I love the fact that we've been able to reach beyond our member districts, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. But 74 districts around the state come to our trainings. 74 districts across the state. Now we have a number of certifications or a number of certs that we give our teachers when they complete a course, and you can see the registrations are the individual registrants that come to our courses over the last 3 years, as well as the number of people that actually come to our courses. So we're very proud of these numbers. Christina on our team has really developed a wonderful dashboard using Google that allows us to pull this in data in real time. We first serve our member districts, so you can see the number of registrants, people from those districts that have come to us. And then we also reach beyond, as I said, with 50 some odd other districts. Mesa sends us a lot of people. We had a lady that came to us yesterday from Ahwatukee. She made the commitment to drive that far and she'll be back. And then this is a heat map that we have. This is a static image, but if on our dashboard, you can zoom in on it and it shows the entire state. And then as you zoom in, you can see all the different entities that come to our trainings. Again, we talked about certifications. You can see that we have over 2,000 credentials or certifications that we've offered through these different accrediting bodies. And then the good work that our team does this year, as well as last year, over 20 trainings, 700, almost 750 students come, 21 days of mainly Patrick's life, but others' life that they come in and they work with officers. So we have an incredible impact with our member districts in this regard also. Some of the work that goes on with career literacy, as you know, that West-MEC funds some of the support for our elementary districts. We've been able to support summer camps over the last few years, have a great return on students attending summer camps. Rasan's been a real pioneer working with Cartwright And then has a great relationship with Pendergast where they've got events happening all year. In fact, I think it was last board meeting, you had 2 different districts that came up and talked about some of the work that they do and thanking you for the donation for that. And then this is West-MEC U. Again, West-MEC U is committed to growing our employees. It is my goal this year that every department, every campus runs their trainings through our registration website so that we can track all of the trainings. This last year, we had 57 unique trainings that came from all these departments. Marilyn and student services uses our system. She is our pioneer. She's our person that comes to us and runs all her trainings through that. It allows us to register and then track attendance and then issue certificates. And then the other component that we do with West-MEC U is really have an outreach to our community so that we can provide trainings for them. So we look for an opportunity to grow ours as well as others. So those are the wonderful things that are happening in professional development. We look forward to continuing to work for the better of the organization.
And as we grow, you will grow.
Yes.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Which on the I'm just curious, on the West-MEC U, what is the most requested training opportunity that the staff are asking for?
Well, I think one of the things that we've come to find out this last year was people embracing AI and understanding, we think about AI as something we just focus on with our students and their ability to use it, but it's incredibly useful for our employees to use it in a productive way. And so we've invested in a little bit of training on that. We continue to do some more of that, but we like to think that we're here for all of our employees. So how do we meet the needs of all of our employee groups? Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
In working with various industries, how focused are they on using AI to develop the skills required within those respective industries? And then how does that translate to the PD side? I mean, do we know?
Jill, do you know the answer to that? How much AI is being used by business and industry?
I don't have the facts about, but I would speculate that it's pretty high. It's a very robust system and many people are using. So I think it will impact what training looks like and the needs of training across the state.
I don't think it's a matter of if they're going to use it, it's a matter of when they're going to use it with safeguards.
We know they're using it, yes.
Opportunities to not be safe in AI technology.
Well, thank you.
Going back to page 5, the CTSO training, I did not see Paradise Valley on there. And I'm wondering, do we not have training for all member districts?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we do offer training for all the districts. One of our goals is that we can train the trainer and equip the advisors in the districts to provide that training for their students. Although many districts thoroughly love to come to us, you can see that we have a lot of trainings. We want to put the power of training students in the advisor's hands. So that's one of the reasons people don't come to us. We love that they do, but we really want to train them to serve their students.
So some member districts, you do train the trainer, and other member districts, you train the students.
Some opt to do, so one of the other districts likes to do a weekend camp and they take their students to out of town for the weekend. So there's a lot of models to train.
Then my next question is about all the non-member districts. How do we charge them back, or what does that model look like?
Thank you for the question. A couple of years ago, I came to you and talked a little bit about the pricing structure. And initially, the goal was to provide free professional development. We knew that wasn't sustainable, so we charged $25 initially. To our member district, we charge $35 per training. And then for anybody that comes outside the district, we charge them $50 per class. So we honor that relationship with our member districts.
And is that truly the cost of the program?
Well, I would say that the cost of the program really reaps the benefits for all of our member districts. We're producing the teachers that then can impact the students that you hear about.
Yes. So my non-member, but for non-member districts, is that truly the cost of the program? And can we legally charge them less? Because I think it becomes a gift of public funds for a non-member district. And so that's why we almost have to charge them what it would cost us. And so are we doing that? And if we aren't, can we legally do that? Be my question.
Look into.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I did have one other question. Sorry. The last thing, and it's more of something I think we could offer, you know, either by our staff or students. I think of our retirement community. They struggle with using the internet and iPhones.
Yes, we do.
And if students wanted to teach as a community service thing, I think that would be really helpful to get West-MEC's name out there to the older population. It'd give them an opportunity to kind of give back to the community and kind of, because you learn more when you teach it. And so that's just
Well, there's several senior centers around.
through Phoenix and all the way to Sun City West. So is that something we could facilitate too?
Yeah, we have worked in the past with Grow with Google, and they provide a free product to be able to use. And at that time, there really wasn't a lot of return on our marketing that we had done, but it's something that we have.
So it's truly not our mission, but if we wanted to build visibility.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wakefield. Professional development presentation, Ms. Kathy Mays. Oh, that was
First reading.
Good evening, Chairman Ramirez, members of the governing board. I'd like to present two policies to you this evening for your first read. Hopefully you had a chance to review them. The first is trust policy 1302, which is governing board meetings and open meeting law requirements. There were a couple of substantive changes, some grammatical, but the two I'd like to bring to your attention was regarding executive sessions. In bullet 6, the recommendation is that for executive sessions, the notice and agenda will include a general description of the matters to be considered. And this is just so that when the agenda is presented, it doesn't just say executive session for Frank Straka. It may say something more general, like to discuss the employment of Frank Straka. So that was one change. The second change is about having a quorum of a 3-member advisory committee. So if the governing board directs the superintendent to start a committee and at least 2 members are on that committee, then we have to follow open meeting law for that. So those were the two substantive changes on that particular policy. Any questions? Then on policy 4101, the change there is, you may have heard last year, the legislation changed where districts could not provide employment contracts before March 15th. So the trust is recommending that we clean that policy up a little bit so that we can offer contracts to new teachers prior to March 15th. But we can only offer contracts to existing teachers after March 15th. So that's the change to that policy. Any questions?
Looking at the general description. Policy 1-302. Doesn't say what to exclude, right? Just says general description.
Excuse me, correct.
Much it doesn't say But exclude excellence.
Well, it says, you don't wanna put anything that might jeopardize the content of the executive session. Like legal information or anything that might violate someone's privacy concerns, so that would be excluded.
That would come from our attorney as a recommended language to be included in the actual item itself, so it wouldn't be something we would just put in there as administration to run through legal.
Okay.
before it came to us.
Okay, legal would approve it.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item is motion to approve consent agenda items F.1 through F.14. So moved.
Second.
Call the question.
She can take a verbal too, Mr. Steins.
Yes.
Move your mouse every couple of minutes.
Motion passes. It's action discussion now? Okay. Action discussion. Item number 1, approval to authorize the superintendent to approve the start date of new hires in between regularly scheduled board meetings. Ms. Mace.
Ramirez, this board agenda item is a request of the governing board to approve the superintendent to approve the start date of non-administrative new hires prior to board approval at the regularly scheduled meeting, as long as all pre-employment requirements are met, including a background check, fingerprint clearance, if applicable, and reference checks. Under policy, trust policy 1102, board authority, responsibilities, and immunities, the governing board may delegate certain matters to the superintendent. And so we are not recommending a change to the policy. We are asking the governing board under policy 102, excuse me, to delegate that authority to Dr. Spurgeon.
And that's not administrative. It's just positions of classrooms or those that are necessary. And this is the reason we didn't want to change policy. This is something I want to ask for each year. So we can kind of evaluate what that looks like each year. And maybe it's just for a couple of months. Maybe it may not be for the whole year, but for this year, we can kind of see how it works out and see how many folks we hire in between meetings. It's typically in the past, it's been mostly the summer months where you actually have longer periods of time, like you may have a meeting in July and school starts July 31st. We need somebody in the classroom. By policy, you'd have to wait till August 10th to be able to do that. So if it looks like it only happens for us maybe a couple months a year, maybe it's just second semester or something like that. Because it doesn't always have to be the entire year unless we need that.
Another thing I'd like to mention also is if something were to come up after the recommendation is made, there are other provisions under policy where if we had to terminate an employee, either because they didn't disclose something on their application or something came up in their background check that wasn't initially on the report, there are provisions in the policy that will allow us to make that change if we had to.
Is that text that's highlighted, is that new text or is that you're just calling our attention to that text? Okay. And is there anything in the policy? I don't think I saw anything about so long as we've confirmed background check, fingerprint clearance. Is that in a separate policy or is it?
That is in a separate policy under your authority to employ.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the policy as presented.
Okay. A second?
Second.
Call the question, any discussion? No, okay, call the question. Sure, you got everyone's vote? Oh. Can I see the? Okay, vote results. That's on our screen.
Yeah, can you put our screen up? Board item screen.
No, thank you. Motion passes. Okay, thanks, Ms. Weiss. And next item on the agenda is recommendation to approve the performance pay plan for non-instructional employees for the 2025-2026 school year. And Ms. Mason, welcome back. Yeah, you didn't go far.
Yes, Chairman Ramirez, back in January, we presented the performance pay plan for non-instructional employees, and it was approved by the governing board, so we moved forward. We sent the spreadsheet with the employees' goals listed by department so that the governing board could review what the goals that have been submitted for compensation were, so you could have an idea and feel confident that our employees are coming up with some great ideas to move our organization forward. And so with your approval, we would like to have you approve the funding for the performance pay plan, which would be in the amount of approximately $262,000 if all employees do meet the requirements for.
The board asks us to include the number, not to exceed, and I think Mr. Trump, who said we'd like to see them, we don't want to talk about it, we just want to see them. And then at the end of the year, when they're completed, we'll have a report that shows the progress and the status of that. One thing we will take feedback on is the format of it. If it's not easy to read, or if you have a recommendation for how you want to see that, just let us know, because this is quite a task to get done from a number of employees, but they're pretty good goals.
I think it will take a few years to perfect. My only feedback is, we said these would be full year goals, and some of them say by December 2025. That's a half year goal, and what I would like to see is, and it's more from an interest of everyone needs to be treated fairly and equitably. Each of these goals, at each level should be about the same amount of effort across all departments to achieve the same amount of bonus pay. And so what I think somebody somehow should, and I don't want employees tracking it by the hour, but at the end, we should be able to know, hey, Bob did 200 hours of extra work to meet this goal. Jane did 197 hours, as long as they're fairly equitable. What I don't want to see is Bob did 25 hours and got the same thing as Jane did 450 hours. It's not equitable and it wasn't fair. And so that's what I look to you to also inform the board in May, that the efforts were equitable at each level. Does that make sense?
And is there like a factor, a weighing factor that addresses that issue if it's a goal that requires a lot more work than another one? Is there a rubric, I guess, that measures that?
We said everything should be fairly and equitable when they submitted the goal.
Okay.
So we pretty much left that up to the supervisors based on what they felt they needed in each department, division, or campus. And so to your point, Mr. Chair or Board Member Straka, some of the goals may have had an earlier completion date, but they may have been a weightier goal. It may have included more analysis or feedback or research or whatever compared to someone who did maybe a less weightier goal that took them longer. So, but that is something that we certainly could look at, is to have a rubric to maybe track the.
Yeah, this is.
And maybe that you could submit to the supervisors how many hours of extra work is expected for each of these goals? And then at the end, how many actual hours? Because they need to also learn to estimate, because sometimes estimations are way under.
So I won't use the term extra work though, because we were pretty clear that it shouldn't include overtime. You know, that they shouldn't work longer than their 8 hours. We want them to include it in their regular workday. But to your point though, we will definitely track to make sure that they.
So I wouldn't stick to just hours though, because some impact is the work. So if it's changing something monumental, like a drastic change, a cost savings or something.
Like what impact it's having?
Yeah, so, you know, something that really has a huge impact may not take that long. May just be an obvious, I got this project to save us $1 million by switching left and right, and I write the policy. So I know it's a tough one. I think there's gotta be a rubric that includes. You know, so it's not busy work just to get a bonus.
What I don't wanna, my biggest concern is, I don't want someone to come back and say, I had to do 400 hours of work and Bob only did 25 and you discriminated against me because I'm a woman.
And this is a
Okay,
problem,
because
so.
that's what will happen to this vase when somebody doesn't.
Oh, we don't know, but that is a valid point though, that is,
I wanna make sure
that is a valid point.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
gotta be somewhat of a balance, cause I do think that, you know, there are some things that are low hanging fruit that they're gonna get to. That's gonna solve a lot of problems, and they may be huge impact, a little bit of time investment, so we can't. You save the school all kinds of cash, but it only took you so many hours, you only get $50, well, they got, you know, a
Well,
little bit of change.
It goes with the, got an employee that does an analysis of what something is going to benefit in terms of time savings and terms of cost saving. And they do that and it takes them, doesn't matter how long it takes them. But if it's less than what Sally did in terms of hours, they shouldn't be. I think the bonus should be based on the end product. Not necessarily how long it took you to get to that end product.
Some people are smarter than others.
And well, it's like,
So we need a
like
rubric.
Mr. Garcia said, you know, it's low hanging fruit. But you've got to recognize that it's low hanging fruit. If you don't recognize it, you don't go pick it.
Well, one of the things that you'll notice on the spreadsheet that we provided you is, we listed if, or Joel, when he created the spreadsheet, listed if it was a district goal, if it was a department goal, and how it connected to our strategic plan. So probably the district goals, I would think would be maybe a heavier weighted goal than a department goal, so we are connected.
Yeah. That's under campus goals, district goals. And department goals.
I would say that we also, you know, are cognizant of what the feedback is from the staff. Which is why we're tying that in probably with the survey that we're gonna eventually work on. Cause I'd be very sensitive to make sure that they're not feeling slighted in any way.
And then the only other thing, there were a couple that would say increase, like increase the student response rate or something. It should be a fixed amount. Because if we're at 50% and you got us to 50.1%, that's not the effort. And it really needs to be, some of these should be more specific. It says increase by how much?
The target, yeah.
Give that feedback to the supervisors.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this turns out. It's our first year, we'll get to reevaluate it at the end. Make necessary modifications going forward. Alright, and do I get a motion?
Oh,
Anybody motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? None, okay, call the question.
Passes. What did I say?
Abstain.
Abstain.
My glasses were screwed up. I didn't
If you want me to vote
It's
yes,
gotta be my glasses.
change your vote.
You can change yes or abstain.
Did you mean to hit yes?
Yes.
Yes, oh,
Yes.
Sorry about that.
I think Carrie. Okay. All right, motion passes.
Odd man out of there.
And the last item and second to the last item on the agenda, request agenda items.
Mr. Chair, I had one, so there's a thing called Comic-Con that's coming up really soon. And I know, I believe that we have some of our West-MEC teams that are going, Semi-Con, not Comic-Con. Yeah, that kind of. I told Dr. Spurgeon I've been up been a lot of hours today, so yeah, you're right, Semi-Con, yes, good, thank you. But so I didn't know that the school's doing, is there a way for the board? Because there's a lot that's gonna be showcased to include the new businesses, just let the board know. That this is the first time also, if you read the latest news, the Commerce Authority opened up a Japanese Arizona office now for business attraction. And they're gonna be tied into Semi-Con, you got Comic-Con. But Semi-Con, so future businesses, future innovation is gonna be displayed and showcased at this event. Is there a way we can get I don't know what our budget would be for something like this, but
Everybody has their own. I would encourage each one of you to attend. This is gonna be an international sensation.
so with that board member, have to tell you
What's the
about
date
it.
on this?
I'm already signed up to attend on the 7th.
It's 3 days.
October the sixth.
Well, it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
I'll be in Guatemala.
Guatemala.
But you'd like
and yet-
to know, but Sherry know. Or
Yeah, I recommend
Sherry know, and she
It's
can
downtown.
Oh, it's in Phoenix. Any other agenda items?
Okay.
Mr. Struggle?
And I don't know if it's an agenda item, but Dr. Spurgeon, seeing the Paradise Honors numbers and everything today. When we walked through the financing of our member districts, we never talked about homeschool charter schools and how any financing agreements with them. So I'd be really interested in understanding that.
The homeschool, it would be using their ESAs, as we receive no state funding from them. The online schools would be, if they're a partner district, it would be similar. If it's not, then they would have to use their ESAs to come to our.
So if they're a homeschooled kid living in Dysart, shouldn't they be able to come to our programs?
They're not enrolled in an actual member district.
Even though they live in the district?
I don't know, Marilyn, is that correct or not correct?
Hear the question, Dr.
If they're a homeschool student and they live in the Dysart district.
Then they can come to West-MEC for registration. Yep.
There you go.
But if they take ESA, then they have to pay tuition to West-MEC.
Then my question, my other part of that question I'd want to know is homeschool district lives in Dysart, who gets, what happens to that money when we look at our total enrollment? Because that shouldn't go back to Dysart because they're not a Dysart student. Where does it go in our enrollment numbers and how does some of that play out?
You want a presentation on that for the next meeting?
We can do that. We'll run those numbers. I'll send it to you.
I don't know if other people are interested or if it's just me.
That same thing apply to private schools.
Charter schools.
No, what I'm saying, private school.
I think they do.
Oh,
private schools.
like,
Well, it's the same thing. If they live within a
Live
West,
Within the district.
right, like they could go to Brophy, but they live in Litchfield Park,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so then they're part of our district, so they can come to West-MEC for free. Unless they take an STO or an ESA, then they
Right.
have to pay us.
Do you verify it? So let's pick on Paradise Honors. And I know we're getting off
Get
topic.
off topic and go into discussion.
How do you verify they live in West-MEC if they're from a charter school that's in
Check their
West-MEC?
address.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
have a
maybe
boundary map, and so.
we should do
A presentation on that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
it if other people are interested.
Yeah, so that answer questions. Okay,
I mean,
anyone else? No, hearing none?
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Do one, just quick recognition.
Yes.
Call people up real quick for
Yes,
Mike Johnson and Matt Hake. We come up here for just a second, just to come up to Mr. Just wanna just briefly state before we get out of here, the absolute incredible work that these two individuals done, and especially Mike Johnson, to get our Agua Fria Academy open and rolling. And they have just been angels in working with our students, our parents, our facilities, our districts, our architects, our CMARs. Just want to publicly thank both of you, because without you guys, it would have never happened. So just want to say thank you.
Thanks, you. I'm very proud of this entire district, the amount of people, we have people there on Saturday working 8 hours, making sure our teachers had everything they needed for us to start on Monday. Great first week going. We're excited to finish it and get rolling and everything else. So
Yeah,
thank you.
kids are in classes. They start Monday.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
One more if I could. There seems to be a big push nationally about banning cell phones in schools. Have we looked at that topic?
Yeah, we have a new statute that we have to, there's rules and regulations that we have to follow now.
Okay.
But our students are very good. It came late to the legislature. It actually came.
35 states have banned cell phones in classrooms.
All right, we don't have very many issues with those, but kids, when you're in the labs, you can't have a phone walking around while you're. Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? I'll second. All right, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Yes. That button I can hit.
So we're gonna check board letters, all the presentation dates and things like that. I would love to have any of you that are able to make it. And then Mr. Strockel, we actually got a phone call from Anthem Kiwanis Club. Do a presentation, so we're trying to figure out a date, I think. Maybe that might have come from you.
No, it's I actually do remember one. Yeah. It's the same.
Something so simple, huh?